just reached out, and thanks to Erin for replying, and love to meet you, and love to turn this into a really good story, actually, that I think could...
I think it sounds great. What questions can I answer for you, or what can I do to help you here today?
Well, I think one, I mean, it'd be great if in your diary, if you could be there on the day that I'm there, if it fits in with your plans, you know.
Absolutely.
Save the date would be wonderful. And I guess for me to be able to say, hey, on this date we're going to be at K River, and Adam hopefully will be along, you know. I don't want to sort of put you in a corner and say you have to, any obligation, but, you know, it would be great to have you. Great.
I think we already have it on my schedule already, don't we, Erin?
Yeah.
We're already on my schedule.
We've got loads of time, and then
I will be there, and we can hammer out the details over the next few months for sure, but yeah, I'm in 100% in.
Thank you so much.
I already knew your story before you told it.
Oh, okay.
I'll start thinking about it. I can try to put something together for you. I can try to help you with that for sure.
Yeah. Well, that'd be great if we can get a couple of
stuff together, but we're in, we're committed. We'll make it happen on our end.
Great. I really appreciate it. Well, that's fantastic. I've confirmed Adam Sandoval for K River. I'm calling Music City Indian dealership in Nashville because at such a time I'm emailing all these Indian dealerships that we're going through, and I thought it'd be interesting if they wanted me to sort of set up and do a bit of a show. I'm not getting any replies. I've rung, I've resent emails. I've just got this one now to say call Cam and email him, which I have done, and I have already called last October. But let's see, now that I get leads, maybe that might get through the gatekeeper, perhaps.
Your call could not be connected. Please. Thank you for calling. Press 1 if you are a new customer. Press 2 if you are an existing customer.
I'm new.
Thank you for calling. For quality of service, this call may be recorded.
I don't know what that is. That busy? Okay. Recents. That one.
Thank you for calling. Press 1 if you are a new customer. Press 2.
I'm new, baby.
Thank you for calling. For quality of service, this call may be recorded.
It's about 2:15. I think that's a busy signal. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to say I'm not a new customer. Might go to a different.
Thank you for calling.
This has been what it's like. I've been.
Thank you for calling. For quality of service, this call may be recorded.
Oh. See, I don't know.
Thank you for calling. For quality of service, this call may be recorded. Thank you for calling. Press 1 if you are a new customer. Press 2 for calling. For quality of service, this call may be recorded.
You've reached Music City Indian. For sales, press 1. Service, press 2. And for rentals, press 3.
I'll go sales.
Your call is being transferred. Please hold.
Music City Indian Slingshot, this is Blaine.
Oh, g'day, Blaine. It's Chris Keeble from Australia calling. I think we spoke last year and had a quick chat, and I sent some emails because I'm coming through to you guys at the end of August, and was just seeing if you were interested in doing an event or anything like that. There's no obligation, no pressure. I just thought I'd present you the opportunity and see if you're interested.
I got your email. I'll be in touch here shortly once I got to do my research on it.
Yeah, I understand totally. Thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it.
You bet. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Wow. Good morning. Good morning, inmates, comrades and survivors. I'm just about to head to Melbourne from Sydney. Well, Mansfield in Victoria. So I'm still 7.5 hours away. I'm all packed up. I'm 3 weeks in Melbourne, then a week in Brisbane. So I've got like a month's worth of gear, which includes work gear and all the other stuff. So it's a bit of a weight on the back, but it's bloody raining. So I'm just going to Put on some gear. Yeah, but apparently it's beautiful weather where I'm going, so hopefully it's just for a short while. So I'll just... I think this video, what I want to talk about is the US trip, and how that's looking and where we're up to with the plans and stuff like that. So at some point I will pick up, so I'm going to listen when you're riding for nearly 8 hours plus stops. I've got a podcast that I'm going to listen to. It'll get me a good ways there. Bit of a bummer leaving in the rain. The drought breaker. The weather this week has been crazy. On Wednesday it was like 37 where I was, degrees Celsius. And the next day, Thursday, I had to wear a jacket. The storms came, it was misty and cold and unbelievable. Okay. Oh, she's heavy. Right, well I'll come back a bit later and when I'm settled into the groove of my ride and talk about the USA and Canada tour, where we're going, and I'm going to try and remember the general route of it all. Okay, so let's try and remember all the buttons and everything, so I'm turning this off. I do notice my wrist is still shit, there's a bit of a exercise getting into a lot of the stuff on my bike. And I just haven't got the strength anymore in my right wrist. And, there's some movements that I can't just do. Anyway, no good whinging about it. Right, okay, see you at some point. Because I was going along the highway, which runs along there, the Hume Highway, and I saw this old stagecoach thing. So I, came around again, and then there's this old hotel. So we're in. This is Adelong Crossing. I don't know if it's open. There's got roughly like lunch, roughly, just roughly, give or take. I don't think it's open. Closed those days. Oh, Wednesday to Sunday it's closed. A couple of abandoned homes back there. But while I'm here, I think I said I was going to mention the planning for the USA Canada trip that we're doing. So just to give you an idea of what's happening. In May this year, we put both our bikes on a 20-foot container along with maybe 2 or 3 other bikes and a trailer. I'm not taking the trailer now. I'm just going to be packed up. Very similar. All this packing is a bit of a experiment on how I'm going to pack when I do the States. Anyway, our bikes will go on a 20-foot container from Sydney and land in Vancouver roughly 5 weeks later. We arrive 6 weeks later. I want to make sure that the bikes are there. I'm looking at starting from Vancouver on the 1st of July. I hope the bikes arrive the week leading up to that, and then even if I have to pay storage for a few days, I'd rather be on the plane knowing that the bike's waiting for us. And then from Vancouver, a couple of days there just to sort of get over a little bit of jet lag, and then we travel to Kamloops, and then to Lake Louise and Banff, and then into Calgary for the Calgary Stampede. That's sort of like the first week. And then from Calgary we head down where we're going to do into Montana. We cross the border then, where we get into that area, and we're going to go on going to the Sun Road, which is a signature ride that we want to do. And that takes us into some beautiful parts of Montana and Wyoming. And we make our way all through that area, and I'll put maps up. And I've got on my website under the barberingbiker.com, there's a tab there that's got Canada USA tour, and you click on that and you can click on the spreadsheet that I've done, and it's live. So every time I update it, you'll see the latest version. It's got all our dates and our days, and I've got a bunch of notes there. I've got a bunch of notes that, some of my followers have sent me notes or posted remarks where I've cut and pasted and I've made mention of them so I can remember who's suggesting what, because we are relying on a lot of local intel during that trip. We've only booked accommodation in Calgary and Sturgis because it's going to be busy because the Calgary Stampede's on, and obviously Sturgis. I'm at Sturgis for the whole 10 days doing what I hope is a Barbering Biker appearance. If not, doesn't matter. We've got staying with some friends, Facebook friends, who are putting us up in their house, which is very generous of them. And we will be riding all around the Black Hills, exploring that area under the guidance of Paula Strickland and her hubby Bobby. And Paula's an Aussie girl who married a Yank, and she lives in Rapid City. So we're going to be staying in Rapid City, and they will show us about. I am hoping that at Buffalo Chip I have an appearance schedule. That's what I'm in discussions about. That's what the idea is. So if you are going to be in Sturgis, look me up, and that's where I think I'll be. But a deal's not done until we see the signature, right? So after we do all that, we've got a couple of days in Deadwood as well. After we do all that, we start making our way to Toronto. So we've got to get across to the East Coast. And in that bracket from Sturgis to Toronto, there is an event called Indian Bike Week that we're trying to make one of those days. It goes for a week. We can't stay for the week, but on the Wednesday of that week, that's in New Richmond in Wisconsin, we hope to do the ride that's on that day for the veterans and military, I believe. It's in honour of those. So we're hoping to make that, and then after that we make our way to Michigan, where we jump on a boat and cross the lake, because the objective now is to get to Toronto. And then after the 2.5 hour boat ride, it's like 3 hours to a place called Serena, and then from Serena to Toronto, another 3.5 hours. We've just generally picked halfway stops. It doesn't mean that we'll stay in Serena. One of the locals might say, hey, go 30 minutes north and you'll be in this great spot. We'll do that. So we're going to be relying on a lot of local intel. So in Toronto is Damien's family, where we're spending 4 or 5 days. So that'll be a bit of downtime. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish it up Canada, and obviously once we're in Toronto, back in Canada, 4 days, we'll do all the tourist stuff. We've got Niagara Falls. I haven't approached any dealerships or anything in Toronto. I'm not sure. Just to give you a heads up, I have written to, in the early days, I had pegged 25 Indian dealerships to go to. That became too much, and I didn't want, this is a holiday after all, I don't want to be working. So then I broke it down and chose probably 6 dealerships that fell in the right time frame that we were coming through and were big, and I have emailed them all. I've put in phone calls to make sure I got the right email. Some cases they gave me another one, re-emailed them, another phone call, another email, and can I tell you, I have not heard back from one. Beg your pardon, Sin City at Vegas got back to me, a girl there, and basically they'd love for me to go and set up and everything, but there's no budget to help me. I used to do stuff for nothing, but I can't do that. I've got a lot of expenses and I work really, really hard. Like I give 3 or 4 hours, do a few makeovers, I'm telling stories, I'm talking about the bike, like this, because I entertain, I work hard. And so I think I'm good value. I don't ask a lot. This really just helps cover fuel and the accommodation for that area, so it's not a big ask. But anyway, I said in my emails, I understand if this is not your shtick. I understand if you don't do this sort of stuff. Just tell me. Just say no and I can scrap it off, because that's my race. So I've just taken you from Vancouver to Toronto. I will take you from Toronto to Nashville and incorporate the Tail of the Dragon and Blue Ridge Parkway rides. So I've just stopped in Tarcutta, which is just off the Hume Highway. It's officially what they say the halfway point between Sydney and Melbourne. So I left this morning at 6:30 in the pissing down rain. It rained for probably the first 2 or 3 hours. It's now 5 to 12. So this is a funky little place. I'm going to have a look around. So I know I talked about the USA-Canada tour. I forgot to mention, before we get to Sturgis, we are doing the $1 Million Highway all through that area, Silverton and Colorado. We'll do Pikes Peak as well, which I have ridden before, but we'll do that again. So again, it's all on my website, the route. So that we're trying to capture as many of the signature rides that everyone talks about, a couple of key events and family as well. Let's go and have a look at this Farmhouse Industries handcrafts. Bet you I find something there. I always. Hi ladies, let's have a squiz in here. I just had a bit of a break. Is this your store here?
It's a co-op.
Co-op,
So
oh
there's about
okay.
25 members.
Right.
So everybody,
So-
if you want to make your craft,
Yep.
then you do a day.
Oh lovely.
Join the co-op and you do a day a month in the shop.
You're local here?
Yes, everything in the shop is
Is
made
local, made in
everything in the shop.
Tarcutta. Of course I find leather. Thing is always, I'd like to support them and buy something. Well, they've got Australian pennies here. 1959 is my year. 59. Oh, I've got loads of pennies. I haven't got one of these ones though. What are these? This is a little halfpenny. Halfpenny. I'll get that. Halfpenny 1959. There you go. Jams and preserves and all that sort of stuff. Oh, they got leather stuff. Well, now we're talking. It's like a leather mug. What's that got on it? I think I'll get this plain one. Oh, it's got, I don't know what KW is. That's no good. That's not my initials, KW. There's a leather mug holder, but it's got KW on it. Who's KW?
Oh, Kenilworth, the truck. He makes things for the truckies. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Right, so on the way out, I go that way, don't I, to get back on the highway?
Which way are you going to Melbourne?
Melbourne.
Yes, you
Yes.
just head straight.
And then I pass the pub, do I?
You'll pass the pub
Oh,
on your
okay.
right.
Should
It's
call
straight
in and
past
have a
the
look.
Caltex. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have a
So
look.
he's done a really good job.
Oh, good.
And he's got a new chef. He's just started to do a lot of really nice meals.
Oh, good.
So we've still got somewhere nice we can go.
Always love a country crumbed lamb cutlets.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's it. I've made a purchase. That makes me happy.
That makes you
And I would have made more if I had a mug, those mugs without. I mean, if my name was Fred as well, is that what that one's got on it? What's this one got on it? Well, here I am now in Holbrook. Now, this used to be my stopping point when I used to ride to Melbourne. It's a little bit further than halfway, and they have a great pub here that was cheap, and they did crumb lamb cutlets, so naturally I used to stay there. But I've just stopped here for a minute because I want you to see this 90-metre submarine that Holbrook's famous for, and I have done a video on that before, but it's an interesting story, but it's obviously a bit of a tourist attraction for the town. It's now getting very hot. It's now 1 o'clock. I reckon I'm about 2 hours from Mansfield, and Mansfield is about then an hour and a half to Melbourne. So it's been actually an easy day, and you know why? I know it's been highway riding, so it's a bit boring. I listen to podcasts, and there's some really good ones out there, and I love those crime ones, you know. And I've been listening to the Pickerton massacre, about 8 people of the one family that were gunned down. Anyway, if you do know of any really good podcast series, let me know. I think my favourite so far, and write this down and try and listen to it, and it's a few years old now, but it's brilliant. It's called S-Town, which is short for Shit Town. So where have I got you? We've finished Toronto, and we're now leaving Toronto after spending time with the family. We're going to make our way down through Pennsylvania to Du Bois. I think that's how you say it. Got a couple of days there at one of Damien's mates at a place called the Lake House. So it's obviously a house on a lake. Then from there we're heading down to do the Blue Ridge Parkway and staying at various, that's about a 3 or 4 day ride to do that. Asheville, Rainoki come to mind. And then we end up at Maggie Valley. Apparently there's a great motorcycle museum and it's a beautiful town.
And that's also Tail of the Dragon is in that little section as well. And I've got then some people I've met on Facebook that are advising me on the best ride and who may join us as well. So you'll get to meet those people. And we'll end up in Nashville. Now, Nashville is a place where I'm negotiating to do an appearance. So I've got you to Nashville. Let's pick up after this where we'll be, and I'll talk about that when I get to my next stop, which I'm almost getting to the destination. So it's been fantastic listening to podcasts. There's some great little towns off the freeways along here. Really interesting stuff. Memphis, and after Memphis we're going over to Oklahoma way, where I'm appearing with Adam Sandoval at his K River campground. Then after that we're sort of making our way to Sedona, Madrid, and eventually Grand Canyon, and then Vegas for about 3 or 4 days. And then after Vegas, we make our way to sort of Lake Tahoe and get over to the Californian coast. And we're back on the west coast. And we make our way, we do the Big Sur, number of sort of other places I want to get to. I'm sorry, I'm just looking for the pub that I've got to get at. And then we get to LA, San Diego, then back to LA, where we put the bikes back on a boat. And they come home and we fly home. But it's more detailed, of course, on my website. I will be documenting the whole trip. Practically every day there'll be a video. So if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, Barbering Biker, please do and hit the bell so you can be reminded when I drop the videos. I'll drop some while I'm away, but I'm not going to spend the whole time editing. You know, I want to enjoy it. So, but there'll be a lot of videos. So thanks for watching now. Is that on my right? Over the bridge, I think you said. Okay, talk to you soon. So just to recap, we're going to start here in Vancouver, and then we're making our way across to Calgary, which is around here somewhere, down through Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, into Colorado. Maybe a bit of Nevada, I'm not sure, but we know it's going to be hot at that time, so we really want to get sort of back up here into South Dakota, where the Sturgis rally is, and we'll explore the Black Hills. After Sturgis, we're going to make our way over here to Wisconsin, where there's possibly a day with the Indian Bike Week. Either come up through here to get to Toronto, or we cross the boat. Undecided still. Get to Toronto. Then we're going to make our way down through Pennsylvania, and then all through down here, West Virginia, Kentucky, into the Smoky Mountains, Virginia, Tennessee, and do the Blue Ridge Parkway and into Nashville. Once we get to Nashville, we're finished there. We make Memphis, make our way over through Oklahoma areas. This is where K River Campground is, Adam Sandoval. We leave there. We're making our way. We're sort of zigzagging up and down. We've got Flagstaff, Sedona, some other little places, into Las Vegas for a few days rest. Then after Vegas, we come up here towards Lake Tahoe and capture some really interesting spots around there as well. Not going to go into San Francisco City, we'll avoid that, but we'll certainly go to check out Alice's restaurant, and there's a motorbike cafe down here somewhere. We make our way down through the Big Sur, into San Diego, where I hope to meet up with an IMRG Indian riding group, then back to LA, where the bikes get put on a boat back to Sydney. What we're trying to capture, of course, is going to the Sun Road, which is up around here somewhere, coming into Montana. We've got the $1 Million Highway around near Colorado area. We're going to do Blue Ridge Parkway around here. We've got Tail of the Dragon down here somewhere. So we're trying to capture some big signature rides, some big signature events, mixing it in with some family and mates and possibly a little bit of work. So that's it. That is the current situation with the Canada-USA 2023 tour. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing, and keep us posted. If you've got any recommendations of those areas that we're going to be in, please let me know. We can't deviate too much from what we've got simply because of the time factor. We've only got 12 weeks and we're trying to cover a lot of miles there. Should be fun. Thank you.